This short clip right here is Felix Rascator learning how to fly, probably like in 1962 or farther back than that. And he's in a Piper Cub, and it looks to be like maybe around the 1957 Piper Cub, or maybe even older, 55 maybe. So anyways, there he is learning. The plane's starting up, and you could see him in the plane right there. And that's probably his instructor, and they're going to go up in the airplane right now. And back in those days, you didn't have to do it very long before you got your license. It's a lot harder now. So there he is, get ready to go. Okay, now what you're seeing is some film that Dan Donnelly recorded probably back in 1979, maybe 1980, maybe at the most, maybe somewhere in there. Dan had a friend that had a Cessna 195. Boy, that thing was beautiful. And that guy would take Dan different places like air shows and stuff like that. There he is right there. That's his friend. And look at that, there's an experimental airplane, something like my dad's plane, but back then everything was made out of aluminum. So what happened was you had to pop rivet that whole thing together, and we built a Glasair in about 4 years in the garage. And to build one of those things, it would take like double the amount of time. So if you spent 4 years working on a Glasair, you would spend 8 years working on that thing to get it finished, because you have to pop rivet every single piece of the metal everywhere it connects with another piece of metal. It would take forever to build them. So somewhere around early 80s, they came out with fiberglass experimental airplanes, and then people started building them out of fiberglass, and they were a lot stronger then, and people would be able to get them finished quicker. Instead of taking 10 years to finish one, it would only take you 4 years. That's a big difference. So now we're seeing some more video. This is somewhere in Michigan, maybe Romeo Airport or something like that. Then what happens is that guy would take Dan to like a different state or somewhere in Michigan, and they would go see an air show. So there's the field, and that's about maybe about 1980. Well, there's this plane right there. That was the Cessna. We saw it for a few seconds. It's a 195. Boy, the thing was in great shape. So let's see if we see it again. There it is. Wow, what a beautiful plane. I'm sure somebody still owns that plane unless it crashed. That thing was in great shape back then. Cessna, there you are. 195. There's that experimental. That's a nice plane. Only one person can get in it at a time, though. I bet you that thing flew fast, though. Nice tail dragger. Okay, this is Dan taking off. Him and his buddy. I don't know what his name is, but they're taking off. They're somewhere in Michigan right now, and they're going to an air show. There goes that other experimental plane right now. Dan did some good job with these videos. Well, actually, this is not video. This is film. This is before video. Yeah, you can tell it's Michigan. See how flat it is? I'm used to flying in Pennsylvania, where when you get up in the air, all you see is hills and trees. Not like that. Nice and flat. All the farm fields. Yep, that's definitely Michigan or Ohio. Tell you what, in those days, film was not cheap. It was very expensive. You had to buy it, and then you had to get it processed and developed. So they charged you on both sides. Well, I can tell Dan is flying over Rochester, Michigan. There's the water tower in Rochester. There's a hot air balloon taking off there. There's an airplane flying low. Now, I don't know how they got so close to another airplane. They must have knew these people. They're probably both going to the same air show. They're probably friends. Dan's camera had some pretty good zoom on it, I'll tell you that. There's the airfield they're going to land at for the air show. That's a pretty short runway. There he is. There's his plane. Wow, it's too bad this thing doesn't have sound, because that's a rotary engine in that plane. Boy, that thing puts off a nice sound. Maybe I can find some videos on YouTube. Maybe I can find that plane. There's some really old planes right there, biplanes. They had some really nice planes at this air show. There's a really old plane right there. I think it's called a Stearman. It's too bad we don't have sound. That thing has a nice sound. Those rotary engines put off a really good sound. Nothing like going to an air show, I'll tell you that. I've been to a few in my lifetime. It's a lot of fun. That's a nice looking experimental airplane right there. Yeah, there it is. Very nice plane. Looks like it's a two-seater. Looks like it has room for one person behind. Wow, that's a little plane. There's a strange looking thing right there. I've seen that plane before. Very fast plane, and it flies a long time. It has a very small engine.